The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say or think or do, only what you do. In the wise words of Epictetus, if someone tried to take control of your body and make you a slave, you would fight for freedom. Yet how easily you hand over your mind to anyone who insults you. When you dwell on their words and let them dominate your thoughts, you make them your master. Unfortunately, instead of dismissing insults, we often let these negative comments to rent space in our minds. According to the Stoics, the mind was a fortress, not to be easily infiltrated by the words of outsiders. That's why they championed mental fortitude, understanding that the true battle is against their own reactions to these insults. In the grand tapestry of human interaction, every word we speak is a thread that can either strengthen the weave or cause it to unravel. Choose your threads wisely. Epictetus counsels, first learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. In the theater of life, the wise person often chooses to be an audience, understanding that words are like keys. Used wisely, they can unlock greatness. Used recklessly, they can close the doors of opportunity. They practice the art of Stoicism, speaking not out of turn but out of truth, teaching us that the most profound statements are often made in silence. The wise person's silence is a loud lesson. They speak only when their words outweigh the silence. For in the halls of Stoicism, it's known, speak not because you must, but because your words can change the must into a meaningful melody. A sage whispers in a world that shouts, knowing that wisdom, like the sun, doesn't have to roar to be felt. In the stillness of their calm, they teach the Stoic truth. It's not the volume of our words, but the weight of their silence that truly speaks. We're all too familiar with those who only talk for attention, filling the air with meaningless chatter to mask their lack of substance. But the ancient Stoics knew better. They saw words as weapons, effective only when precisely targeted and used purposefully. On top of that, it's in silence that we can observe, learn, and understand. Thus, by speaking less and listening more, your words gain weight and substance, making others listen when you speak. In a world where everyone seems to be talking but nobody is truly listening, the ancient Stoics presented a powerful alternative. They taught us that words are not merely sounds but tools, to be used sparingly and effectively. And in this video, we will learn to do just that, to master composure, to turn calm into command, and to discover why true strength has always spoken in silence. Power has always been mistaken for movement, for noise, for domination. The truth is that power begins where reaction ends. The Stoic understood this before empires rose and fell. Calm is not a retreat from conflict, it is precision within it. The still mind does not flinch because it sees the field clearly. While others rush to respond, the Stoic observes, measures, and decides. This is where influence begins, not in the voice that shouts loudest, but in the one that remains composed when others fracture. Modern society confuses stimulation for vitality. The constant movement, the endless commentary, the instant opinion, all of it hides a deep dependence on noise. True strength exists in the one who can remain unmoved while surrounded by reaction. Calm is power because it cannot be baited, it cannot be bent. The individual who does not need to rush, explain, or prove has already taken command of the tempo of the world. In that silence, they dictate the rhythm of everything around them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This is not metaphor, but law. Power begins where ownership of attention begins. Those who control their focus control their energy, their actions, their destiny. Every disturbance in the modern world is a test of this control. Social media, politics, distraction, they are the new battlegrounds of sovereignty. The Stoic does not run from them, they simply refuse to let them dictate the internal state. Calm is precision because it separates perception from panic. The disciplined mind filters what matters from what is noise. It does not allow emotion to outrun reason. In this clarity lies decision, and in decision lies command. The volatile person becomes a puppet to circumstance. The calm person remains architect of every outcome. To remain calm is not to stand still, it is to stand firm. Society rewards reaction publicly, but respects composure privately. In moments of chaos, people look to the one who does not flinch. The Stoic becomes that axis. Power shifts to them naturally, without demand or declaration. Calm holds gravity. It bends the behavior of those around it. The one who does not mirror the frenzy exposes its weakness and replaces it with order. This is how the Stoic leads, by being the still point in the spinning world. Aggression spends itself quickly. Composure sustains itself indefinitely. The loud voice burns energy to assert control. The quiet one commands by conserving it. Every word becomes deliberate. Every motion becomes intentional. This is power in its purest form, the ability to hold one's center under pressure. Calm is not softness. It is pressure mastered, energy condensed, potential stored. The modern world mistakes speed for progress, but haste erodes clarity. When the mind rushes, it fragments. When it fragments, it loses strength. Calm collects. It gathers energy into focus. Like an archer drawing breath before release, the Stoic waits for the right moment, not out of fear, but accuracy. This is what separates force from precision. The impatient act destroys itself. The calm act achieves its mark. Seneca said, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength." Misfortune draws its power from reaction. When the Stoic remains still, adversity dissolves into data. It becomes a scenario to navigate rather than a storm to survive. Calm is the removal of unnecessary suffering. It transforms what others call pain into practice. Every hardship becomes a test of stability. Every insult an opportunity to remain unbroken. The one who can stay calm under provocation controls not just themselves but the entire exchange. Anger is predictable. Outrage is exploitable. Stillness is unreadable. It disarms the manipulator because it removes the leverage of reaction. The calm person ends every conflict before it begins by denying it fuel. This is not passivity, it is strategic superiority. In leadership, calm is authority. The voice that stays measured when others tremble becomes the anchor. The team, the family, the society, they stabilize around composure. People crave certainty. Calm provides it. It signals mastery, foresight, and strength. The Stoic does not need to command with force because presence alone commands attention. The calm leader governs by being immune to chaos. The mind in control of itself becomes the strongest fortress in the world. It cannot be invaded by insult, trend, or temptation. Every external force breaks against it like waves against stone. Calm is that stone, unmoved, grounded, enduring. It is not absence of feeling but mastery of it. It does not reject emotion. It governs emotion through discipline and awareness. The calm Stoic is not cold. They are precise. Power is often confused with aggression because people equate movement with control. The Stoic knows that control is containment. It is the ability to hold energy without spilling it. Calm is stored strength. It is pressure transformed into focus, impulse refined into judgment. In every age, those who could wait, who could think, who could hold silence, Those were the ones who shaped history. Calm is not withdrawal from the world. It is dominion within it. To walk through noise without being captured by it is to move as a sovereign. To choose your thoughts when others are consumed by theirs is to stand as master. Calm separates the reactive from the deliberate, the impulsive from the disciplined, the fragile from the firm. In that separation lies freedom. In times of collective panic, calm becomes a rare form of rebellion. It defies the expectation to react, to join the outrage, to drown in noise. The Stoic stands apart. Their stillness is not ignorance, it is focus. They know that chaos consumes those who feed it. Calm is their resistance. Calm is their power. This is the definition of power, the ability to remain unmoved by what does not matter, and unmoved even by what does. It is to hold form when all else collapses, to act from clarity instead of compulsion, to see the storm and remain the mountain. The Stoic does not seek peace, they create it within. That inner empire cannot be taken, cannot be manipulated, cannot be disturbed. It is the foundation of sovereignty itself. Every emotion spends energy. Every reaction draws from a finite reserve of strength. The Stoic understood that most people are not exhausted by labor, but by waste. They spend themselves on impulses, on opinions, on noise. The mind leaks power through every unnecessary reaction. Calm is the art of closing those leaks. It is emotional conservation, the mastery of internal economics. The Stoic lives with precision because they know attention is currency, and most bankrupt themselves in distraction. The modern world is built to drain the mind. Every sound, notification, and argument demands a piece of attention. Each moment of outrage or envy is an unmeasured withdrawal from inner reserves. Those who cannot control their focus are manipulated into perpetual fatigue. Calm restores ownership. It transforms awareness into capital, concentrated, directed, potent. A calm mind does not scatter its energy in every direction. It stores it for where it matters most. In this economy of mind, emotion is expenditure and silence is saving. Every argument avoided, every reaction withheld, compounds power. The Stoic does not deny feeling, they budget it. They understand that control is not suppression, but allocation. Each thought, each word, each motion is weighed against cost. This is not detachment born of coldness, but discipline born of purpose. The calm person does not waste energy explaining themselves to those who will not listen, nor justifying themselves to those who cannot understand. Energy moves where attention flows. A distracted mind lives in servitude, a focused mind reigns. Calm is focus without friction. It directs energy with intention. It does not fight noise, it ignores it. The act of ignoring is itself a form of strength. To withhold response is to preserve control. When others speak to provoke, the Stoic listens without absorbing. They conserve strength the way a warrior conserves motion. Each act measured, each silence strategic. Seneca said, "To be calm is the highest achievement of the self." Calm is achievement because it is control over the most expensive resource a human possesses, emotional energy. Every complaint, every resentment, every surge of defensiveness costs power. The Stoic learns to recognize this cost and refuses to spend where there is no return. Anger has no yield, envy no profit, outrage no interest. The calm mind invests only in creation, decision, and clarity. Overstimulation is modern slavery. It keeps people reactive, uncertain, and depleted. The constant pursuit of stimulation weakens the ability to sustain thought. The Stoic reverses this by cultivating stillness. Silence is not emptiness, it is preservation. In silence, the mind replenishes what noise consumes. This is why the Stoic appears indifferent. They are simply conserving energy that others squander. The absence of reaction is not apathy, it is accumulation. Every reaction shortens endurance. Each burst of emotion burns time and clarity. Calm lengthens both. The person who does not flinch under pressure lasts longer in every field: work, argument, conflict, creation. Their stillness outpaces the frantic. Their patience wins what speed cannot. Calm is the slow accumulation of unstoppable momentum. It grows quietly, invisibly, until it defines the person entirely. Modern exhaustion is not a symptom of too much effort, but of too little restraint. The Stoic knows that restraint is power in reserve. It is the energy that could have been wasted, but was instead stored. In decision-making, this calm becomes precision. The reactive mind makes errors because it acts in confusion. The calm mind sees the full board before it moves. Every delay, every pause, every breath becomes part of strategy. This is how composure becomes intelligence. Epictetus taught, "When something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it." The attitude of calm is not passivity, it is positioning. It keeps the mind above the turbulence of impulse. It allows the Stoic to see cause, consequence, and pattern without interference. From this vantage point, emotion becomes a tool instead of a chain. Anger becomes energy to act decisively. Sadness becomes reflection. Joy becomes gratitude without dependence. Each feeling is used. None are wasted. In this structure of control, calm is the vault that protects strength. It prevents the theft of attention. It guards against manipulation. When the world seeks to provoke, the calm person remains untouchable. They do not engage in every debate, respond to every comment, or chase every noise. Their silence unsettles those addicted to reaction. It reveals the weakness of those who mistake volume for influence. The calm person does not compete in chaos. They stand outside it. Over time, the Stoic's energy compounds. What once required effort becomes effortless. Calm becomes instinct, and instinct becomes presence. Others feel it, the authority of stillness, the weight of attention unbroken. This is the architecture of inner power. Clarity reinforced by restraint, strength shielded by silence. The more the Stoic withdraws from needless emotion, the more their actions become absolute. Every empire of mind is built on this economy. Waste leads to collapse. Precision leads to permanence. The Stoic's calm is not fragile, it is fortified by choice. They have built systems of thought that protect against depletion. Routine, solitude, reflection. These are not habits of avoidance, but habits of construction. They keep the vessel full so that it can withstand the storms of the world. Noise is a thief of strength. Every engagement with it is an invitation to weakness. Calm refuses the invitation. It stands in the discipline of neutrality, where power is not lost to argument or emotion. The Stoic speaks only when the word serves purpose. They act only when the motion serves principle. Every restraint refines power. Every silence shapes influence. The mind that remains still is not empty, it is organized. Each thought has direction, each response has meaning. This organization creates speed without haste, clarity without confusion. Calm is the highest state of efficiency. No wasted motion, no wasted energy, no wasted attention. In this state, the Stoic becomes unstoppable because they are inexhaustible. The world exhausts those who feed it their energy without measure. Calm feeds on nothing external. It draws from within. This is the true independence of the Stoic, the economy that cannot be taxed, the wealth that cannot be stolen. Every moment of restraint adds to it. Every silence strengthens it. Every composed act expands it. This is power earned, not displayed. Calm is not the absence of energy, it is energy contained. It is the mind disciplined enough to hold force without release. The Stoic does not seek to appear calm. They are calm because their energy is aligned. Nothing leaks, nothing spills, nothing reacts without command. That is the difference between endurance and collapse, between mastery and dependence. All power is the control of energy. The external world amplifies the noise of those who cannot hold it. The Stoic remains unseen until action demands appearance. When they act, it is precise, unhurried, absolute. This is why calm is power. It is strength conserved until it becomes unbreakable. The world spends, the Stoic builds. The quiet mind becomes the richest of all. The modern battlefield is not fought with swords, but with perception. Every opinion, every headline, every pulse of outrage becomes a weapon. The reactive mind is pulled into wars that do not exist, enslaved by the rhythm of outrage and validation. Calm becomes rebellion here. Silence, a declaration of sovereignty. The Stoic does not seek to win the argument. The Stoic refuses to be owned by it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Perception is the true field of combat. In a world addicted to reaction, restraint becomes revolutionary. Each person is trained to respond before they think, to comment before they understand. Platforms are designed to weaponize emotion, to convert attention into currency. Outrage is profitable, calm is not. This is why calm is feared. It cannot be controlled, cannot be marketed, cannot be monetized. The Stoic walks through this noise untouched, their composure unshaken. They choose their focus with surgical precision. They do not join the battle of noise, they rise above it. The reactive mind is a slave to the latest provocation. It bends to every wave of public opinion, every flash of controversy, every signal of conflict. It does not choose its wars, it is drafted into them. The Stoic mind stands apart. It sees the machinery behind emotion, the manipulation behind the message. It asks, does this require my energy, my thought, my peace? If the answer is no, it withdraws instantly. This withdrawal is not weakness, it is freedom. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoic practices this truth with absolute discipline. Every day, millions engage in invisible conflicts, debates that do not matter, opinions that change nothing, arguments that erode focus. This is the new exhaustion, to care about everything except what can be controlled. The Stoic reverses this by narrowing the field of concern. They invest attention only where it holds weight, in their actions, their principles, their inner state. The rest is left to dissolve. Calm is triage. It decides what deserves response and what deserves silence. Noise disguises itself as importance. The louder it becomes, the more it pretends to matter. The Stoic dismantles this illusion through observation. They know that emotional volume does not equal truth. A crowd in panic does not become right by being many. Calm protects perception from contagion. It filters reality from theater. It allows the Stoic to act from reason, not from echo. Those who can remain still when the crowd moves will always see the path clearly. The modern world rewards opinions over wisdom. Everyone speaks, few think. The Stoic does the opposite. They think so deeply that speaking becomes optional. They are not drawn into every controversy because they understand that energy given to noise strengthens the noise. To remain indifferent to chaos is to weaken it. Calm becomes counterattack through absence. Indifference is not ignorance. It is precision of care. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This line defines Stoic rebellion. The Stoic does not debate virtue, they embody it. They do not perform calm, they live it. They know that perception, once mastered, becomes armor. When emotion cannot be provoked, manipulation fails. This is why calm terrifies the volatile. It removes their leverage. Outrage culture depends on participation. When participation ends, the machine loses power. The Stoic silence is sabotage. Their refusal to react ends the cycle of dependence. Every reaction withheld is a disruption of control. Calm breaks the pattern by making perception a choice, not a reflex. It restores dignity to awareness. The mind that decides what enters is the mind that rules itself. In this battlefield, every person is both soldier and target. Attention is the ammunition, perception the terrain. Most spend their strength defending illusions. The Stoic builds fortifications within. They choose not to fight battles that cannot be won. Their energy is reserved for creation, not destruction. They understand that mastery of perception is mastery of self, and mastery of self is mastery of all. The calm person sees politics, gossip, and ideology for what they are, performances of power, not truth. They refuse to outsource their peace to the instability of others. They know that every emotional investment in outrage is a loss of sovereignty. Calm is their boundary. It is the invisible wall that keeps noise outside and awareness inside. Through this wall, clarity emerges. Through clarity, control returns. The discipline of indifference is not detachment from life, it is engagement with precision. It is the power to stand in a storm without becoming part of it. The Stoic does not hate the noise, they simply know its cost. They understand that perception creates reality and that chaos only wins if invited in. The discipline of indifference protects perception from distortion. It guards truth from emotion, logic from frenzy, peace from panic. When the world screams for attention, the Stoic answers with stillness. Their silence communicates strength because it cannot be bought or provoked. It is not compliance, but control. Calm is a higher language, one that only those free from reaction can speak. In this language, the Stoic commands without aggression, influences without effort, and defeats without conflict. The battlefield of perception rewards those who conserve energy and clarity. The Stoic wins by refusing to fight where victory is meaningless. They know that calm is not the absence of opinion, but the elevation beyond it. In every age, those who have mastered perception have shaped reality. The calm mind sees truth while others see noise. The world reacts, the Stoic endures. The quiet mind commands not by force, but by gravity. It draws order from chaos, the way a stone shapes the flow of a river, motion bending around immovable strength. The Stoic no longer reacts to the noise of the world. They direct it. Calm is not stillness without purpose. It is stillness that governs movement. When the inner state is steady, the external world takes shape around it. This is the secret of influence, to hold silence so complete that it becomes the center of direction. Every storm seeks a still point. Every conflict searches for balance. The calm mind becomes that axis. Like the eye of the hurricane, it is surrounded by motion, yet untouched by it. This calm does not reject chaos. It organizes it. The Stoic understands that clarity is not the absence of noise. It is the ability to hear through it. In this clarity, decisions are not rushed. They are inevitable. The quiet mind sees patterns before others perceive the shape. Its strength is foresight. Silence refines thought. In stillness, the fog of emotion clears, revealing the precise line between truth and illusion. The Stoic sits in this silence, not as retreat, but as recalibration. The world around them becomes manageable because the world within them is mastered. Calm is the act of bringing internal chaos to order, one breath at a time. When this order is complete, leadership emerges naturally. Others sense authority without command, discipline without effort. The quiet mind rules because it wastes nothing. Each idea forms completely before expression. Each word is born of necessity, not impulse. This restraint creates precision, and precision creates power. The Stoic does not dominate conversation, they direct its energy. Their silence pressures others to reveal themselves. Their calm presence creates contrast so sharp that truth cannot hide. This is why stillness commands. It exposes the imbalance of all that moves without reason. To achieve this level of control, one must detach from the need to respond. Every response feeds noise. The Stoic listens without absorption, observes without judgment, acts without hesitation. They are the architect of perception, building walls within which focus thrives. In that inner architecture, every emotion has its place, contained, disciplined, understood. No part of the self leaks into chaos. This containment is not suppression, but design. Calm is architecture perfected. Imagine the ocean at dawn, vast, silent, endless. Beneath the surface, currents move with unimaginable force, yet the surface remains still. This is the Stoic mind. Motion under control. The energy that could destroy is harnessed. The power that could scatter is centered. Calm transforms potential into command. The one who governs thought governs the horizon itself. In moments of uncertainty, the quiet mind becomes leadership. When panic spreads, the calm person is sought instinctively. Their composure is contagious. It reorders the environment without a word. This is governance through presence. The Stoic becomes a stabilizing force not through demand, but through being. The unbroken stillness of their mind radiates into the space around them, transforming disorder into symmetry. The Stoic sees the world not as threat, but as material. Every difficulty becomes stone to carve, every challenge a test of structure. Calm gives them the clarity to build while others collapse. Stillness is construction, not avoidance. It lays foundations where others only see ruin. Through patience and precision, the Stoic turns chaos into architecture. Their silence is the workshop of command. The untrained mind seeks distraction. The disciplined mind seeks direction. The Stoic lives by direction alone. They do not chase stimulation, they cultivate purpose. This focus sharpens everything it touches. Calm removes noise from decision. It refines judgment until only truth remains. What others call intuition is often just clarity unhindered by panic. The quiet mind sees with that clarity because it has no interference. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The Stoic does not need retreat because their soul is always accessible. They have built within themselves a space untouched by noise. When the world screams for attention, they return there. That inner chamber is where strategy forms, strength renews, and control solidifies. It is the empire within, the true throne of power. Stillness is not an act, it is a state. It is cultivated through repetition, through the daily choice to remain composed when the world provokes. Each moment of control strengthens the internal walls. Each silence deepens authority. The Stoic builds command not through domination, but through repetition of calm decisions. The habit of silence becomes the habit of strength. A quiet mind cannot be deceived because it cannot be hurried. Manipulation requires haste. Confusion requires noise. The Stoic refuses both. They understand that patience is the ultimate intelligence, the ability to wait without losing focus. This patience turns the unpredictable into the predictable. It gives control where others see only reaction. Calm is foresight in motion. Stillness does not mean inaction. It is movement under absolute control. The Stoics' decisions come slowly but strike cleanly. Like the tide, they move with rhythm, not impulse. Each choice carries the weight of awareness, the precision of timing. The quiet mind measures before it moves, ensuring that every step advances order. This is command, movement guided by mastery. The unbroken stone stands not because it resists the wind, but because it never tries to move with it. The Stoic learns from this. They allow events to pass around them while remaining unmoved. This is how peace becomes strength. The world changes, but the foundation remains. Calm is that foundation, solid, eternal, immune to the weather of circumstance. In solitude, the Stoic perfects this art. They seek quiet not as escape, but as alignment. Alone, they meet their thoughts without distraction. They polish perception until it reflects truth without distortion. This ritual sharpens awareness, tempers emotion, and renews authority. When they return to the world, they bring with them the clarity of still water, deep, silent, commanding. The quiet mind turns chaos into clarity because it separates perception from noise. It filters the essential from the trivial. The Stoic's attention is surgical, cutting away confusion until only understanding remains. This selective perception gives them advantage in every field: business, conflict, creation, existence. Where others drown in variables, the Stoic sees principles. Calm reveals order because it listens long enough to find it. Calm is not indifference, it is engagement without entanglement. It is the mind's ability to touch reality without being torn by it. This detachment is not distance, it is strength. The Stoic walks through the world as the ocean carries the storm, with quiet authority. They know that what cannot disturb them cannot defeat them. This is power disguised as peace. Every civilization that lasted was built by calm minds, architects, thinkers, leaders who mastered their own perception before commanding others. The Stoic inherits this tradition. Their stillness carries centuries of discipline. They do not seek to impress with passion, but to endure with clarity. Their calm is timeless because it does not depend on approval. It is self-contained, self-sustained, self-directed. The quiet mind transforms existence into symmetry. Every movement aligns, every thought connects. This coherence is what the ancients called harmony. It is not mystical, it is mechanical. When the mind operates without waste, it achieves unity. That unity radiates outward, organizing everything it touches. Calm is this unifying principle, turning chaos into composition. In the end, command is not achieved through conquest, but through comprehension. The Stoic commands because they understand. They understand themselves, and therefore everything else. Calm is the crown of understanding, the summit of mastery where silence speaks and presence governs. The quiet mind does not shout its power, it radiates it. It does not demand obedience, it creates alignment. It is the unseen hand that guides every storm into order. To live as the Stoic is to live as the architect of calm. Every thought is a stone placed with purpose. Every silence is a wall raised against disorder. Every act of composure builds the citadel of the self. Within that citadel, chaos ends. The mind becomes empire, the spirit becomes sovereign. This is the ultimate power, to command without sound, to govern without force, to lead without leaving stillness. Composure under fire reveals the true measure of power. Anyone can appear calm when the air is still, but only the Stoic stands unbroken when pressure sharpens the air and chaos tests the foundation. This is where philosophy leaves the page and becomes action. The quiet mind faces the storm without flinching. It does not suppress fear, it masters it. Calm in crisis is not denial. It is control refined by experience, shaped by discipline, and made unbreakable through choice. The Stoic knows that adversity strips away illusion. When comfort vanishes, only strength remains. In these moments, panic is the reflex of the untrained, but composure is the mark of mastery. The disciplined person does not ask, "Why is this happening?" but instead asks, "How do I respond in a way that keeps me whole?" This is the essence of Stoic leadership, commanding emotion before commanding circumstance. When all directions seem to collapse, the Stoic does not move faster. They slow the mind. They let perception settle until clarity emerges. This stillness is not delay, it is calibration. It allows the Stoic to act with precision when others react with chaos. Every breath becomes instruction. Every second of calm under pressure adds weight to their presence. Power amplifies in proportion to composure. Marcus Aurelius faced war, plague, and betrayal, yet his meditations remained calm reflections, never cries of despair. He wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." That insight transforms every crisis into training. The Stoic redefines difficulty as practice, suffering as sharpening. The fire of pressure is not an enemy, it is the forge of control. Composure is not the absence of emotion, it is its proper placement. The Stoic feels anger, fear, sorrow, and pain, but organizes them into function. Anger becomes fuel for discipline. Fear becomes signal for focus. Pain becomes teacher of endurance. No feeling is wasted because none are allowed to dominate. The calm person converts turmoil into command. This is the highest form of alchemy, turning disorder into direction. The world respects those who remain steady when others fracture. In every crisis, people search for someone who does not collapse. That person becomes the axis around which everything stabilizes. This is not charisma, it is composure. The Stoic does not need to announce confidence, they radiate it through control. Their calm becomes magnetic because it offers what the world lacks: certainty. Pressure reveals character because it removes performance. Under strain, habits show. For the undisciplined, chaos exposes fragility. For the Stoic, it proves foundation. Every hardship endured with control deepens authority. The one who remains calm when threatened gains silent influence over those who panic. Composure becomes a visible form of wisdom. It cannot be faked because it emerges from genuine understanding. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Each challenge is the grinding wheel of self-mastery." The Stoic does not fear it. They stand in the storm with the understanding that every test endured refines the edge. Their calm is forged through contact with difficulty, not sheltered from it. The rougher the environment, the clearer their control. Leadership in times of pressure is not about authority, it is about temperature. The calm leader cools the fire around them. Their steadiness creates an atmosphere where others regain clarity. This emotional regulation scales outward. Families, teams, and societies all stabilize when composure leads. The Stoic recognizes this responsibility and guards their calm as their greatest contribution to order. Composure under fire is also an act of moral clarity. When panic spreads, principles are the first casualties. The Stoic refuses to compromise values for expedience. Calm allows ethics to survive chaos. It preserves integrity under pressure because the quiet mind is never desperate. It is deliberate, consistent, unshaken by threat or promise. This steadiness is both armor and compass. To remain calm under insult is strength. To remain calm under injustice is strategy. The Stoic does not confuse calm with acceptance of wrong. They use composure as weaponized awareness. Rage blinds, calm calculates. The quiet mind sees angles where emotion sees only injury. In this state, the Stoic can dismantle conflict without becoming part of it. They win by remaining unreachable. The disciplined mind prepares for crisis long before it arrives. Daily reflection, restraint, and endurance exercises are not rituals of austerity, but rehearsals for resilience. When difficulty strikes, the Stoic has already met it in thought 1,000 times. This mental preparedness transforms reaction into execution. They do not need to rise to the occasion, they are already standing. Calm is contagious in moments of fear. It slows collective panic and restores logic to chaos. The Stoic uses this to lead by example, not through speech, but presence. The room follows the rhythm of the calm person because stability radiates authority. In a crisis, emotion spreads faster than truth. Calm reverses that contagion. It resets the collective nervous system. Composure does not come from detachment alone. It comes from meaning. The Stoic endures pressure with purpose. They know what they stand for and what they refuse to surrender. This clarity removes uncertainty, and uncertainty is what feeds panic. Purpose gives calm its backbone. Without it, composure is temporary. With it, composure becomes unbreakable. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In crisis, freedom reveals itself as control. The one who governs their perception governs their response. The one who governs their response governs the outcome. This is the sequence of command that the Stoic internalizes. Calm under fire is not luck. It is the practiced chain of mastery applied under heat. Every fire eventually burns itself out. Those who panic burn with it. Those who remain composed outlast it. Time always favors endurance. The Stoic does not rush to extinguish flames. They wait for the right moment to act. When the fire weakens, their calm remains, untouched and ready. This patience turns chaos into opportunity. Stillness under tension is the rarest display of power. Anyone can move. Few can pause. The pause is where thought enters, where strategy forms, where mastery resides. The Stoic's calm creates time itself. It stretches moments so decisions can align with reason, not impulse. This temporal control is invisible yet absolute. It governs fate through patience. The calm person walks through pressure as the mountain holds against the wind. Movement touches them, but never changes them. They absorb force without distortion. Each challenge confirms their solidity. The Stoic is not unmoved because they are rigid. They are unmoved because they are balanced. Their strength is flexibility under command. In a collapsing world, the composed individual becomes legend. History remembers those who stayed deliberate when others drowned in confusion. Composure under fire creates leaders, thinkers, and builders of order. It is how civilizations survive and how character is defined. Calm is not reaction. It is the architecture of response built over a lifetime of awareness. To be calm under fire is to be complete. It is the moment where everything trained, everything learned, converges into quiet authority. The Stoic meets chaos as an equal. They bow to no circumstance, yield to no panic. The world may roar, but they remain the still center of gravity within it. In this posture lies the highest form of power. To remain calm not because the world is stable, but because they are. Marcus Aurelius understood that strength begins where disturbance ends. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. The Stoic does not look outward for stability. They build it from within. When chaos surrounds them, they return to that internal source that cannot be shaken. Every emotion, every demand, every crisis becomes an invitation to look inward, to return to the well of stillness that never runs dry. This is the core of composure, a renewable strength drawn from silence. Calm is not found through control of the external. It is created through mastery of the internal. Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. The world tests this truth constantly. The noise outside will never disappear. The only permanence is inner command. When the Stoic looks within, they find the machinery of endurance, the practiced habits of thought, the measured rhythm of breath, the refusal to surrender to noise. This inward gaze is not retreat, it is refueling. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Harmony begins with the alignment of thought and action. The Stoics' calm is not separate from their ethics. It is born from integrity. When the mind, word, and deed move in the same direction, tension dissolves. Conflict fades because there is no inner opposition. This harmony becomes visible as calm. It is not performance, it is coherence. The world senses it instantly. Those who live in harmony with themselves cannot be thrown off balance by the disharmony of others. The modern world fragments attention and values, forcing people to scatter themselves across meaningless pursuits. The Stoic resists this fragmentation through alignment. Every principle, every purpose, every choice converges towards stillness. This is how harmony becomes armor. The one who lives in accordance with principle does not fear judgment. They do not need to explain themselves to noise. Calm, in its purest form, is integrity unbothered. A person's worth is measured by the worth of what they value. The Stoic assigns their energy according to value, not impulse. They spend themselves only where meaning resides. The calm person is not detached because they care less. They are calm because they care selectively. They value truth over opinion, progress over attention, principle over praise. This hierarchy of value builds stability. To value what endures is to anchor the self in permanence. No storm can move the one who values what cannot be taken. In modern chaos, worth is confused with visibility. People chase recognition, not refinement. The Stoic reverses this. They seek depth over display. Their calm becomes a quiet statement that strength is internal, not social. When others exhaust themselves proving their value, the Stoic simply embodies it. Worth becomes silent authority, expressed through clarity of action and restraint of reaction. Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." This is the culmination of composure, the liberation from external judgment. The Stoic does not measure peace by approval or criticism. They measure it by alignment with principle. When the mind no longer chases validation, tranquility settles like dust after battle. What remains is focus, clarity, and unshakable presence. Calm under fire requires this detachment. The moment one begins to care what others think, energy leaks. The Stoic understands that external opinion is uncontrollable and therefore irrelevant to internal command. They act according to what is right, not what is received. In this, they achieve freedom from the crowd's emotion. Their composure becomes unchallengeable because it is self-sustained. Harmony with self produces invulnerability to noise. The Stoic who values inner order cannot be undone by outer chaos. Their worth is not determined by applause or rejection, but by the measure of their discipline. Calm becomes both shield and sword, protecting the mind and cutting through confusion. It allows the Stoic to move cleanly through disorder, untouched by the turbulence of others. To come near a calm mind is to come near the center of strength itself. The Stoic stands at that center. They are not numb to the world, but finely tuned to it. Their awareness sees everything but absorbs only what serves reason. Their focus moves through chaos like a blade through water. This precision is the essence of power. Calm does not reduce the world's noise, it renders it irrelevant. Each of Aurelius's words reflects a single law of Stoicism. The ungoverned mind cannot govern anything. To rule one's perception is to rule the universe of one's own experience. This is not metaphor, it is mechanics. When calm becomes permanent, perception aligns with reality, emotion obeys will, and thought directs action. The result is harmony, resilience, and unbreakable presence. The Stoic achieves strength not by accumulating force, but by eliminating waste. They no longer spend energy defending ego, reacting to noise, or seeking recognition. What remains is concentration, pure and undistracted. This is how calm turns into command. It governs action, speech, and even atmosphere. The world feels the authority of someone who no longer needs to fight for peace. To live in harmony with oneself is to become untouchable by the dissonance of others. The Stoic walks through argument, envy, and chaos with quiet clarity. Their strength is invisible but undeniable. It cannot be provoked because it does not depend on external permission. The nearer one comes to a calm mind, the nearer they come to freedom from all external chains. Calm is not just power, it is liberation. Seneca understood that calm is not a luxury, it is a necessity for survival. He warned that anger, an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. Every ungoverned emotion corrodes the mind that carries it. Anger promises power but delivers weakness. It pretends to protect dignity while quietly destroying it. The Stoic recognizes this corrosion and refuses to drink the poison. Calm becomes both defense and purification, the act of refusing to be burned by one's own fire. In moments of rage, people believe they act with clarity, but they move blind. Anger distorts perception, shortens vision, and leads the mind into error. The Stoic does not deny its presence. They observe it until it passes. They know that suppression creates pressure, but observation creates understanding. Through this understanding, they transform reaction into restraint. To master anger is not to silence it. It is to redirect its force into strength. Calm holds that force without spilling it. Seneca's insight exposes an eternal truth. The emotions that feel powerful are often those that make us weakest. The Stoic measures strength by control, not by intensity. To remain composed when provoked is a test of empire within the self. The untrained strike wildly. The disciplined choose when to strike, and often find they no longer need to. The calm person conquers through stability, not retaliation. He also wrote, "A great mind becomes calm itself, and the tempest of others' opinions passes over it." Here, Seneca speaks to the independence that defines composure. A mind elevated by reason cannot be shaken by noise. The opinions of others lose weight when measured against self-knowledge. The Stoic knows that truth does not change because it is doubted, and worth is not reduced because it is misunderstood. The calm mind remains high above the storm, watching the winds of judgment pass harmlessly below. Opinion is a wind that blows without direction. To chase it is to lose course. The Stoic sails by fixed stars, principle, virtue, and awareness. When others shift with every gust of approval or criticism, the Stoic moves steadily forward. Calm becomes navigation by clarity. In this stillness, progress accelerates because energy is not wasted steering toward every voice. The great mind stays unmoved because it does not anchor in perception, but in truth. Seneca understood that much of suffering is self-created. He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary. Anticipation is the enemy of calm. The mind imagines losses before they arrive, amplifies pain before it exists, and destroys peace in the pursuit of preparation. The Stoic separates foresight from fear. They prepare for difficulty without allowing it to dominate their present. This is not denial. It is discipline of imagination. Fear is often a misuse of creativity. It paints futures that may never occur and calls them real. The Stoic corrects this illusion by returning to the present moment, the only ground where control exists. Calm restores proportion. It reminds the mind that imagined pain has no weight until believed. By refusing to suffer in advance, the Stoic preserves energy for what is real. They face hardship when it arrives, not before. Seneca went further. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The Stoic mind recognizes this as a law of perception. The world itself rarely wounds as deeply as our thoughts about it. The imagination magnifies what the present only whispers. Every future dread, every replayed insult, every hypothetical failure steals energy from the moment that needs it. Calm dismantles this theft by anchoring perception in fact. What has not happened is not yet suffering. The calm person lives without rehearsal of pain. They meet each event once, not 1,000 times in thought. This efficiency of emotion is not indifference, it is mastery of focus. They have learned to measure reality precisely, without inflation, by fear or fantasy. Their mind remains clear, their action efficient. Calm makes them immune to unnecessary suffering because they refuse to participate in it. The Stoic sees that most human misery is voluntary. People grant fear permission to rule them. They let imagination paint tragedy, then react to their own projection. The calm mind withdraws this permission. It looks at life without exaggeration. It sees danger as data, not doom. Insult as noise, not injury. Loss as transition, not annihilation. This realism is what makes calm so powerful. It is clarity free from emotional distortion. To remain composed under fire, one must first end the battle within. Anger, fear, and imagination wage wars against reason. The Stoic ends them by removing their weapons, attention and belief. Without these, they fade. The mind becomes a quiet field where nothing grows that has not been chosen. From this field rises authority, the kind that cannot be provoked, persuaded, or disturbed. Seneca's wisdom lives as a mirror to the modern age. Every outrage, every rumor, every imagined catastrophe is acid in the vessel. Calm neutralizes it. The Stoic practices this daily, pausing before emotion takes shape, questioning thoughts before they harden into belief, observing the self before acting upon it. This is how peace survives in a turbulent world. To be calm is not to ignore the storm, but to stand above it. It is to watch imagination's waves break harmlessly against the rock of reason. Each moment of composure restores proportion to life. The Stoic learns that peace is not absence of pain, it is refusal to multiply it. They suffer only when reality requires it, and never when imagination demands it. This discipline creates an inner freedom that no external force can invade. Calm becomes purification of thought, removing distortion and restoring truth. The mind becomes clear, the heart steady, the actions deliberate. Anger, fear, and anxiety lose their claim. The vessel remains uncorroded, the strength unspent. In this condition, power becomes sustainable, an energy that neither burns nor fades. Seneca's words echo through the centuries because they describe not philosophy but survival, to endure without consuming oneself. A great mind becomes calm because it understands that peace is not found but built. Every refusal to react, every pause before judgment, every moment of patience adds a layer to that construction. In time, the structure stands unshaken by any storm. The Stoic becomes that structure. Their calm is not decoration, it is the architecture of strength itself. Epictetus taught that the true battle of composure is fought within perception itself. If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Every reaction requires permission. The Stoic's task is to deny that permission. Provocation is an offer, the offer to surrender control. The disciplined mind declines it. Calm begins the moment one chooses not to be moved by another's instability. Power remains untouched because it was never given away. The Stoic studies provocation as a mirror. Every irritation exposes a weakness. Every anger points to an attachment. When someone can disturb your peace, they reveal the chain you still carry. The Stoic breaks those chains not by argument, but by awareness. They observe the reaction forming and let it dissolve before it becomes movement. Calm, then, is not suppression but interception, the ability to see emotion before emotion sees you. In that instant of awareness, mastery begins. This control of response defines composure. It transforms insult into information. Instead of asking, "Why did they say that?" the Stoic asks, "Why did it reach me?" The answer reveals the point of growth. To remain calm under provocation is to refuse ownership of another's chaos. The Stoic knows that no one can disturb their peace unless invited to. Calm is the door closed to intrusion. Zeno of Citium, founder of Stoicism, reminded us, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." The tongue moves faster than the mind, and every unmeasured word spends stored strength. Speech is an extension of thought. Once released, it cannot be recalled. The Stoic guards their tongue as they guard their mind. They understand that silence often achieves what words destroy. To remain silent when others rush to speak is not weakness, it is command. The calm person values precision over expression. They know that words should serve reason, not emotion. Speech is a tool of clarity, not release. Zeno's warning is not about politeness, it is about preservation. Each careless word leaks composure. The Stoic saves that energy for decisive action. Silence becomes armor, protecting both integrity and focus. It keeps the mind clean of regret and the soul free from reaction. Pythagoras taught, "Silence is better than unmeaning words." The Stoic sees silence as an art. It is not emptiness, but discipline in sound. Through silence, thought deepens, observation sharpens, and energy collects. The calm mind does not fear stillness, it uses it. In silence, the Stoic hears the truth beneath appearances. This silence is not withdrawal. It is listening at a higher frequency where clarity lives. Heraclitus wrote, "The way upward and the way downward is one and the same." Calm under pressure follows this same paradox. The Stoic understands that strength and surrender often appear identical. To stay still under attack may look like weakness to the untrained, but it is power in its purest form. The same path that descends into silence ascends into mastery. Calm does not avoid conflict, it transforms its direction. Every downward pull of emotion becomes an upward rise in awareness. The Stoic knows that control and humility share a root. Calm is born from understanding the limits of force. When one stops fighting against reality, reality aligns itself. This surrender is not defeat, it is synchronization. The way upward, the path to command, passes through stillness. In every moment of restraint, the Stoic climbs higher into authority over self. Ancient wisdom often carried truths too simple for restless minds to value. The calmer you are, the clearer you see. Clarity is a luxury of the composed. Panic blinds, serenity sharpens. The Stoic values calm not for comfort, but for precision. Vision requires stillness. In chaos, the details vanish. In calm, patterns emerge. The clear mind sees cause and consequence where others see only confusion. This sight is advantage. It allows the Stoic to act once where others stumble endlessly. Calm is the ultimate form of confidence. The Stoic embodies this. Confidence is not noise, it is certainty without display. The one who knows does not need to prove. The one who controls does not need to announce control. Calm is confidence refined, distilled to essence. It communicates strength without speech and power without posture. This confidence cannot be faked because it comes from an internal source, the harmony between knowledge and action. Master your breath, master your mind. Breath anchors thought. The Stoic uses breath as a tool to return to equilibrium. When anger rises or fear tightens, the breath loosens it. Controlled breathing trains perception to slow, allowing awareness to return before reaction begins. The body obeys rhythm, the mind follows the body. By mastering breath, the Stoic reclaims the tempo of their existence. Calm becomes physical discipline made mental. In conflict, those who breathe shallowly react quickly. Those who breathe deeply decide wisely. Every slow breath is a reclamation of power. It is the physical act of ownership over thought. This is why the Stoic seems untouchable, because even their physiology obeys their will. Calm is not only mental control, but bodily synchronization. The quietest person in the room is often the most powerful. The Stoic does not compete for attention because attention follows them naturally. Stillness attracts in a world addicted to movement. Those who do not rush project control. The calm presence carries gravity. People orbit around it without knowing why. Silence draws more than speech because it cannot be exhausted. The quiet person listens, observes, and calculates. Their influence accumulates while others spend theirs through noise. The Stoic understands this gravitational law of calm. Influence does not require demand. It requires presence. The mind that governs itself commands its environment. The one who does not need to be heard ends up being listened to the most. The quietest person in the room carries power because their calm suggests mastery over impulse, over fear, over time itself. Each of these teachings converges on one truth. Composure is command. Whether it is the tongue, the breath, or the mind, restraint is the root of control. To be calm is to operate from a higher vantage, beyond provocation, beyond vanity, beyond haste. The Stoic trains every level of being to obey this law. Their speech becomes measured, their breath deliberate, their perception lucid. Calm does not remove conflict, it organizes it. It turns chaos into movement, movement into direction, direction into mastery. The Stoic rises above provocation by mastering perception, above noise by mastering silence, above weakness by mastering reaction. Their stillness becomes the silent standard by which all disorder measures itself. This is the essence of composure, power so refined it no longer needs to move to command. Authority begins when motion ends. The Stoic no longer seeks control, they embody it. Stillness becomes command. This is not silence as retreat, but silence as dominion, the power to move the world without moving the mind. The authority of stillness is the highest form of leadership because it governs not through demand, but through gravity. The calm presence alters the rhythm of everything around it. It bends emotion into order and restores direction to confusion. The still mind does not react, it regulates. It is the equilibrium others borrow when they lose balance. In this presence, words lose necessity. The Stoic does not need to instruct. Existence itself becomes instruction. People sense when they stand before someone whose composure is permanent. The unshaken mind commands respect beyond argument. The room adjusts to them, the way water shapes itself to stone. Stillness communicates authority because it signifies completion. The Stoic has nothing to prove, nothing to fear, nothing to chase. Every act stems from understanding, not impulse. This restraint creates weight, and weight commands. Leadership that shouts has not yet mastered silence. The one who is calm in the storm directs it by existing as contrast. Chaos dissolves around a stable center, and the Stoic becomes that center. In the quiet mind, decisions form without noise. Logic operates cleanly, unobstructed by fear or haste. Stillness amplifies perception, letting the Stoic read what others overlook. The subtle shifts in energy, the truth hidden beneath reaction. This insight creates advantage in every domain, in negotiation, in conflict, in creation. The calm person governs through awareness, not dominance. They see before they act, and by the time others move, the decision is already made. Stillness is the final evolution of discipline. It is what remains when reaction, anger, and haste have all been mastered. The Stoic no longer strives to appear calm. They have become calm itself. They have transcended the need to defend, justify, or prove. Their energy is condensed into absolute control. This is why stillness radiates power. It signals nothing left to lose and nothing left to prove. Authority of this kind cannot be imitated because it is the product of inner symmetry. The Stoics' actions, words, and intentions align perfectly. There is no gap between thought and motion. This integrity produces presence, the kind that fills silence with meaning. Those who encounter it feel both peace and accountability. Stillness demands reflection from everyone it touches. In moments of uncertainty, people search for steadiness. The calm individual becomes the natural point of orientation. Their tone, posture, and gaze provide quiet command. They do not compete for leadership. Leadership gravitates toward them. Authority arises not from assertion, but from the perception of control. To stand firm when others tremble is to govern the emotional landscape of the room. Stillness governs through timing. The Stoic does not act often, but when they do, their actions carry inevitability. They speak little, but their words arrive with precision. They wait longer than others can bear and move when others have exhausted themselves. This patience is not delay, it is control of tempo. Authority exists where rhythm is mastered, and calm is rhythm perfected. The quiet mind is feared by the noisy because it cannot be measured. The volatile demand reaction. When it does not come, they lose power. Stillness is unreadable. It breaks manipulation because it denies the manipulator feedback. The Stoics' calm becomes armor of invisibility. They give nothing away and lose nothing in return. Authority thrives in this invisibility. It does not perform, it endures. Stillness transforms space. The presence of the calm mind slows conversation, softens conflict, and clarifies thought. It forces sincerity. Those around it cannot sustain falsehood or distraction. The Stoic silence compels truth. It brings the shallow into depth without confrontation. This is the invisible governance of composure, control without coercion, influence without speech. The authority of stillness depends on self-trust. The Stoics' calm is not fragile because it does not depend on environment. Their peace is not borrowed from quiet places. It is carried into noise. They trust their own reasoning more than the world's chaos. They trust their patience more than others' urgency. This self-trust manifests as power, the confidence that no external disorder can unseat internal balance. Aurelius wrote, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength. Strength matures into authority when calm becomes the default state." The Stoic lives in that nearness constantly. They no longer return to calm, they never leave it. Their decisions, relationships, and influence all rise from that unshaken foundation. Stillness is no longer a tactic, it is identity. Stillness holds moral weight. It does not merely stabilize, it refines. It allows justice to arise from clarity rather than emotion, compassion to emerge without weakness, and discipline to endure without cruelty. The calm leader governs with precision and grace because they have conquered within what others still battle without. Their rule begins where their rest begins. Stillness is also contagious. In its presence, agitation loses grip. Others begin to breathe slower, to think clearer, to steady themselves. Calm multiplies through example. The Stoics' authority extends not by demand, but by resonance. Stillness speaks in frequencies deeper than sound. It changes the rhythm of those who come near. This form of power does not seek recognition, because recognition is irrelevant. Stillness is its own reward. The Stoic does not look for followers, they attract alignment. Their composure becomes the standard by which others measure control. The quiet mind governs without agenda. It creates order simply by existing in it. The unshaken person stands like the mountain against the wind, unchanged, unmoved, and yet shaping everything that touches them. The wind spends itself, the mountain remains. This is the symbol of stillness. Authority belongs to those who do not compete with chaos, but absorb it into calm. The Stoic commands the world not by force, but by equilibrium. The authority of stillness concludes the architecture of mastery. It is the crown of calm, the moment when composure ceases to be practiced and becomes nature. The Stoic has ascended beyond reaction, beyond defense, beyond appearance. Their silence carries direction, their calm, power. The world bends subtly to their rhythm because they are aligned with the rhythm of the world itself. This is the highest state of strength, to govern without motion, to influence without noise, to remain still, and through stillness, to rule.